How much does it really cost to live in Midlothian, Texas? Let's talk about it. Keela McGraw here, your favorite Fort Worth realtor. So you're thinking about moving to Midlothian, Texas, and you're probably wondering, how much does it really cost to live there? I've helped several clients move to the Midlothian, Texas area, and if you're considering moving to Midlothian, it's probably a good idea to know how much it costs to live there. So let's dig right in. According to payscale.com, Midlothian's overall cost of living is about 7% higher than the national average. So let's dive right into one of those big factors, or big expenses if you will, that goes into cost of living, and that is housing. Housing costs in Midlothian is about 9% higher than the national average. As of May 2022, the median price of a home in Midlothian is $504,000. So $504,000 will get you a nice 3 to 4 bedroom, 2 to 3 bathroom home with between 2,500 to 3,000 square feet. And this home may be brand new or about 10 years old. So the median cost of a home in Midlothian is considerably higher than even the median price of a home in the Dallas-Fort Worth Metroplex. So depending on your budget, you could be looking at a home for around $300,000 all the way up to $1 to $2 million. And if apartment living is your thing, you can get an apartment for between $1,200 to about $1,900. Did you think the median sales price of a home in Midlothian would be higher or lower? Let me know in the comments. So let's talk about another big expense when it comes to just living in Midlothian, Texas, and that is going to be your utilities. One of the major utilities that you're going to be looking at is the price of electricity. So Midlothian is a mix of older but mostly newer homes with all of the new construction communities that are popping up. So depending on the age of your home, you could be looking at an electric bill between $100 all the way up to maybe $500 to $600. It's going to also depend on the season. So living in Midlothian, Texas, you are going to see 100+ degree days in the summer. With that, you're probably going to be utilizing more electricity, which will cause your bill to be higher. So just keep that in mind as you're looking at different housing options in Midlothian, depending on the age of the house and how energy efficient it is. Another utility that ties into the cost of living in Midlothian is going to be internet access. So you do have two options when it comes to internet service in Midlothian, and that is AT&T and Spectrum. And depending on the speed that you choose for your internet service, you could expect to spend between $50 to $100. Another expense when it comes to utilities is natural gas. You may or may not have natural gas as an option in the community that you choose to live in Midlothian, but if you do, Atmos Energy is the provider. And your gas bill, depending again on the age of the house and the season that you're looking at, could be about $60 to $100. You can't have a house without water, so let's talk about water usage and your water bill. Now, your water bill can fluctuate depending on if you have a pool, how often you water your lawn, and things like that. So just keep in mind that water usage varies. Your water bill can be between $60 to $200 a month, again, depending on the season and how often or how much water you are utilizing. So another big contributor to cost of living is transportation. And transportation options in Midlothian really are very limited. You need a car. It is definitely a suburb. It is further south than Arlington or Mansfield. You're gonna need a car to try to get around. And with a car, of course, you have to consider maintenance. So just keep in mind that because Midlothian is one of your kind of outer suburbs in the Dallas-Fort Worth Metroplex area, your car may get a little bit more wear and tear than it typically would if you were living in Dallas or Fort Worth proper. Another thing to consider when it comes to transportation are toll roads. And so living in Midlothian, there are no toll roads in the city specifically, but since it is in an outer suburb, if you try to travel to Dallas or any of the other areas around, you're probably going to need a toll tag. Now, I don't think you'll need as much of a budget for a toll tag depending on where you're traveling and how often you're traveling on those roads, but it is a good idea to get one simply because it can save you money. And I say that because if you don't have a toll tag and you utilize those toll roads, they will charge you 50% more than if you were to use a toll tag. Go ahead and reach out to your North Texas Tollway Authority, get your toll tag, and save the money. And just to give you an idea of what your monthly bill could look like with a toll tag, We spend about $30 to $40 per month as realtors on toll tag charges. So if you travel more or less, that could change for you, but that just gives you kind of a roundabout number to work with. All right, and you can't have a car without utilizing gas in most cases. Of course, if you have an electric car, it could be a little bit different, but gasoline prices here lately have been skyrocketing. What we typically do is utilize an app called Gas Buddy, and let me know in the comments below if you use that app as well. But Gas Buddy tells us where the cheapest gas is in proximity to where you are. It's a great app to use, and living in Midlothian, Texas, you'll want to utilize that app because Midlothian's gas tends to be a little bit higher than the average around the Dallas-Fort Worth Metroplex. Okay, we can't talk about cost of living without including food. So when it comes to grocery stores, you are somewhat limited in Midlothian, Texas as far as choices. There's Brookshire's, you have Kroger, and then there's an Aldi. So again, Midlothian is at the beginning stages of really trying to build out. I'm sure there's more to come, but you do have a small selection of grocery store options there in Midlothian, Texas. All right, we have to talk about restaurant options in Midlothian. It's kind of limited. If you're thinking about going on a fine dining experience, you'll probably have to go further south to Waxahachie or further north to like Mansfield or Fort Worth or Dallas. There aren't a lot of fine dining options in Midlothian, but you do have your chain restaurants and things like that. So do you want to learn more about living in Midlothian, Texas? Comment below and we will see you in the next video.